What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We're jumping into something. The story of Iceland's prohibition. Beer illegal in Iceland? Get over, show, wake up, Reykjavik, all the love in the world. Oh, we're already subbed up. We already smashed the like button. Let's go on a journey together. Let's learn something. Shout out to Siggy for the request. I appreciate you. Let's do it. We all know how a prohibition worked out for Americans. We just made it ourselves.
Beer was illegal in Iceland for 74 years.
74 freaking years.
Let's talk about it. Today, when we upload this video, we are celebrating Beer Day here in Iceland. Because on this day, on the 1st of March, back in 1989, beer was sold again here legally in Iceland for the first time in 74 years. But why was it illegal to begin with? We'll go over that. But since it is Beer Day, I think it's only fitting that we sit back and relax with nice, cold beer.
Why not?
Beer time. Woo. Don't come at me about the pour, guys. I know. It's a rough pour, but amazing beer. Scoury. Ah, that's good. So it all starts with Denmark. Ugh, I know, right? Denmark ruled us from the 16th century until 1944, when we finally got our independence. We'll get back to that one. With Denmark ruling us, they were importing most of the goods into Iceland, and with that, all the beer. And drinking beer was heavily associated with the Danish lifestyle. Back then, the Danes drink a lot of beer, and they still do to this day. But we did not want to be associated with Denmark in any shape, way, or form, so drinking beer here, back in the day, was heavily frowned upon. Another factor was that we definitely had some social problems happening on the island back then that alcohol didn't help with. But before that, way back in the day, during the Viking era, we used to drink a lot of mjöður. Mjöður is what you could call kind of an ale today. And back in the day, we had a Nordic god called Ægir, who was referred to as the god of the ocean and brewing. So ever since the first settlers came here, we've been getting drunk. Here's where Ægir. Let's go. Some tasty beers. As time went on under the Danish rule and we got more into the 20th century and became more civilized, you could say, we started to realize that we had to tackle all these social problems we had on the islands. And a lot of people were connecting these social problems with alcohol consumption, and especially the beer, due to the connection to Denmark. And this resulted in Iceland having its first referendum on whether or not to ban all alcohol on the island in 1907. And this bill passed, technically in 1907, but it gave us 8 years to drink the whole entire island clean. So back in 1907...
It gave us 8 years to finish up what we had left. Come on. Look, alcohol contributes to social issues. I agree with that. In a lot of cases, alcohol can contribute. It doesn't mean that getting rid of alcohol is going to get rid of your social problems. That don't matter where you live.
If you had alcohol, you could consume it, but you couldn't get it anywhere else. Strange times, right? And then 1915 hit, and we had complete prohibition in Iceland. Beer break for sad times. To my fellow Icelanders, back in 1915, I feel for you.
I love the sense of humor.
It's probably hard. And we quickly realized that complete prohibition maybe wasn't the best idea. Back then, and still to this day, fish was Iceland's biggest export. And in the 1920s, Spain and Portugal came up to us and they said, hey, if you're not gonna buy our wines, we're not gonna buy your fish. And they were our biggest buyers of fish. So we were kind of in a pickle there. So in 1922, Congress made an exception to this law and legalized Spanish wines. So now all of a sudden you could buy only Spanish wines here in Iceland. Makes sense, don't you think? But we realized we were losing revenue opportunities with not selling Icelandic strong spirits like brennivin. So in 1933, we had another referendum on whether or not to allow strong spirits. And that passed. So in 1930...
So you could have strong spirits and Spanish wine. But beer was the cause of the problem of your social problems. Sometimes I think that the people at the top are just making decisions just to make decisions. Based on their own personal... Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that bill passed. You guys all voted it in. I'm calling bullshit on some of them.
You could buy Spanish wines and strong spirits here in Iceland. But no beer because we hated Denmark, remember?
No beer because of Denmark.
During the Second World War, the US troops came to Iceland and set up a base camp in Keflavik. And Keflavik is a city where we have our airport today. So if you ever come to Iceland, you're gonna land in Keflavik. And the US troops got a special permit to have beer brewed for them and brought to their base camp that they could consume there. Because technically speaking, the US base camp was considered US soil. And the beer that we brewed for the US troops is called polar beer, and we actually still have it today. We got the recipe
Polar
from
beer.
them, so it would be
With
considered
a polar bear on it.
the Icelandic Bud Light, you could say. So,
No.
not the best beer. So during that time, the brewery would have to transport the beer from Reykjavik and up to the US base camp in Keflavik. And you hear stories about a crate or two going missing along the process. So back in that day,
They fell off the truck. It happens here too with merchandise and things like. People end up with. Oh yeah, found it on the highway.
and you hear stories about a crate or two going missing along the process. So back in that day, some beer was circulating here in Iceland, but you had to have connections to get it. A funny thing about this period is that we call it the situation period.
The
Because all the US soldiers
situation.
came here to downtown Reykjavik to flirt and dance with the Icelandic women. And the Icelandic farmer fisherman did not like that one bit. So that created a situation. Beer break.
This is the greatest video ever. Hey, that's way too much head on that beer.
And then 1944 hit and we finally gained our independence. Go Iceland, independent, independent. It was a great party, it was a great time. I mean, I wasn't born, but it was probably a great time. We were so happy, everyone was so excited to finally start drinking beer again. But nothing really changed. Bills started popping up in Congress of whether or not to legalize beer again, and people are saying crazy stuff that beer had such a low alcohol content that kids would start drinking it, workers would
See what I'm talking about? Just like here in California, no more flavored tobacco for the adults because the kids might get it. Even though freaking kids have been smoking their parents' cigarettes, whether it's flavored or not, since cigarettes were invented. It's the flavored ones that are the problem. They don't want kids to get it. We already got laws in place so that children can't get their hands on things. How about just enforcing the freaking laws that are already there instead of trying to nitpick this and that and this and that? That obviously happens all over the place.
started consuming it during working hours and stuff that just made no sense. So the witch hunt on beer continued, even though we got our independence. So this continued for a few more decades. And then the roaring 80s hit, and Icelanders were really beer thirsty. So in the 80s, the first German-style beer bar opened up in Reykjavik. And that bar started serving beer alike.
What?
You never had beer alike?
What?
What's wrong with you?
What the hell's beer like?
Beer alike is where you take non-alcoholic beer, it's not beer, right? And you mix it in with a strong spirit, usually Black Death, vodka, or whiskey. And you
Hey!
mix it all together and you have
Beer!
alike. So I think they mostly used, like we discussed, Black Death, whiskey and vodka, but I only have rum. Ooh, it's strong rum. And I don't have non-alcoholic beer.
I can't. No, rum and beer doesn't go together. There's certain things that go together, like a Corona and Bacardi Limon. Drink the neck out of your Corona, pour in the Bacardi Limon. Now you got a Mexican, because Mexican beer, Puerto Rican rum. Some things work. But like, just to say, oh, I'm going to take this kind of rum and dump it. There's certain things that won't work. There's certain things that I think you're asking for a really bad night if you
I only
mix them
have
together.
alcoholic beer. But we're gonna make beer like.
We only were going to add more alcohol to our alcoholic beer. I like it.
Or a big splash. Oh! Got some on my pants. But that's fine. Beer alike.
I love you guys for sending me this video.
Oh my god, that's bad.
Yeah!
Better with no alcoholic beer, to be honest though. Oh my god. Did you want to try some, Ben? Oh, it's... Oh.
If it's got some sort of a flavor enhancer, then I can
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Today we have beer, so no worries. And this was a huge hit. People were drinking beer alike like crazy. So we had something that resembled beer. Finally. But the Icelandic government, as we know by this point, is not the most party-favored government, made beer alike illegal. But no worries, we found ways around it. But with the success of beer alike, the beer movement was gaining much momentum. So people were protesting, more bills were popping up in Congress suggesting that we legalize beer, and they were constantly getting put down with barely enough voting until finally, 1988, the bill passes with barely enough voting. But they had to prepare for it because they hadn't sold beer here in such a long time, and they had to open up the specialized governmentally run alcohol stores. So a few months later, On March 1st,
You know why they open up government-run alcohol stores? Taxes! That's why!
1989,
They want their piece!
beer is sold again legally in Iceland for the first time since 1915. And that's 74 years. And that day must have been a blast.
It
How's
must have been a
recording from that night?
blast.
Surprisingly many naked people. Don't know why. And with this, the highest birth rate in Iceland's history, 1990. So if you're born here in 1990, you're considered a beer baby. So to sum it
A
up,
beer
there were
baby,
social,
that's
cultural,
cute.
Political reasons for the beer being illegal for such a long time here in Iceland. Today, beer is widely and legally consumed all over the island, and we have excellent beer. If you enjoy this story and you want to hear more about it, and you're coming to Iceland, I highly recommend you sign up for our Reykjavik food and drinks adventure. On that tour, we walk around the city of Reykjavik, we eat some tasty Icelandic food, and we drink some tasty Icelandic beers. And we go into the story a bit deeper. Use the promo code BEER for a little added discount on your food and drink adventure. I really hope you tag along and join our super fun Reykjavik food and drinks tour. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time in Iceland. Skål!
Hey!
Time, beer time! Man, I love beer day.
It's not even 4 o'clock, man.
Ugh, that's 4. Give me attitude.
Oh, this is the
Beer?
greatest put together video ever. How does this only have 2,000 views? What the hell is wrong with people? This is hilarious. And you know what? And no matter what it is, no matter where you're at, the government always wants a piece. And if they can't control it and get all of their taxes out of it, then they don't want it to be around. And it's going to be illegal. Everything's got to be a way for somebody at the top to make some money. We all know it's true. We all know it's true. Oh, you can't even smoke shisha in Thailand because, oh, all of that tobacco was imported from Turkey and other countries, and the Thai government didn't have a way to tax it. So they made it illegal. It's happened all over the place with so many different kinds of things. It's just the way of the world, I suppose. They always got to get their piece. Get over, show, wake up, Reykjavik, all the love in the world. This was seriously a brilliant video. Shout out to Orly for bringing it to my attention. I love Beer Day too. Smash the like button if you liked it, the dislike button, but I won't believe you. Tell the next one of my Combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe, and let me to the moon and back. Peace.